Hey guys, it's Kyle Bennett here, and what we're showing you today is this is a preview of the Ncore water block that we had shown you a couple months ago on Kickstarter, I believe, and so we finally got our first sample in today. And the claim to fame on this is that this version, which is called the version 1 by Ncore, actually doesn't use any other hold down mounting devices. It actually uses the socket itself. So what's interesting is, so we're going to use this, we're going to try this on a D-lidded 6700, and we're going to compare it against cooling, say, with our XSPC Raystorm block, with once we get a metal TIM in here and relid this. But this is it's a good looking piece of kit. You'll notice here, let me see, you'll notice here that we've kind of got this cutout, right? And so this is a heat spreader off the 6700K, and you'll notice that it will not fit down inside these little cutout edges right here. So you can't use this with your CPU. So what we have here is this is actually a relief cut down in here so that this acts like a shim for our processor and allows us a little bit of movement, which is required when we mount this thing. So let me show you how this mounts. So this is the MSI Z270 X-Power Gaming Titanium motherboard. It's obviously LGA socket 1151. So we're not gonna, so this is just our first test mount. So let's get the CPU down in the socket where it should be. So we're there. So now we're going to take our cooler. I do believe it goes this way. This mounts down into there. Then we bring it down until these tabs catch. See the tabs there on the shoulders? We're supposed to get those to line up. I do believe we bring this around this way. Now we align the cooler right to the edge of the socket on this back side. There's a little bit of pressure. And let's see if we hear a crack or not. Wow, I didn't hear anything. So that's really good. I'm really hesitant to start playing around with this on there. It feels down in there really good. So now let's see, let's pull this back off. And there's our die intact. Actually, let's do this. I don't see any cracked edges or anything on there, so that's good. Now that we've seen how this little guy mounts, let's see what's all on the inside of it. So this is what it looks like with all of our hardware removed. And I took out the Frag Harder Disco light as well because that was just too much to deal with here. So we have this copper top plate, which comes straight off. It is a solid piece of copper. Let's move this over here. You can see it's nicely machined on the back. So it sits down against our O-ring here and our O-ring here. So that gives us our seal there. Let's open that up. All right, so all this is keyed as well. So here's our internal flow plate that's made out of this piece of plastic. It's actually got a post right here to key it into this position. So you can't put this back in together, or you can't put it together backwards. If you look down in here, you can see there's our flow. You can see the micro fins there on the bottom. So let's pull this out here for a second and flip this over. So in that piece, you can see we've got this elevated nozzle here on the flow plate. It's going to inject down into these microfins, and then our flow from there will be going out either side, back down around the channel, and back out our outlet. So it's pretty interesting. So that is it's a pretty small unit here. There's a quarter to give you an idea just how small this is. So it's a United States 25-cent piece. So it's pretty tiny. I guess I could do this. So there you go. About 1.5 inches wide, about 2 inches tall, 4.5 centimeters, 5 centimeters. It's a pretty tiny little unit. So to put it back together again, so our piece is keyed. Take this. You can't put this together backwards because you have this edge right here that's not going to allow you to do that. So I can come back over here. I felt the key in the slot. Bada bing, everything's clean, and we'll put it back together and we'll give it a test. So this is the Ncore mountless water block. So it's still a prototype. We're going to see how it works, and we'll test it against our XS PC Raystorm. We'll re-lid the CPU and use a metal TIM, and we'll compare that to see what that is against running naked die cooling. This is Kyle Bennett with HardOCP.